Supergirl number 3, written by Michael Green and Mike Johnson, art by Mahmoud Asrar. We last left off with Supergirl learning that Krypton had been destroyed, and some skeevy guy was getting Supergirl's pod that she landed in, but we don't see who he is. This issue picks up with, I guess, Supergirl getting the explanation. We only get it from her perspective, and we don't actually hear the story of how Krypton went, but we see the images of, and she's saying how, oh, okay, everyone's gone, according to my baby cousin Cal, who's now 20-something and standing in front of me. And she, of course, gets upset, and she's just trying to process, and she's like, give me any sort of proof. Give me anything to let me believe what you're saying. Because I survived. You said no one else survived. I survived. I'm here. Maybe my parents did the same. And Cal's like, I get that, but like, no. Like, there's no reason you even should have survived. And we still have no idea why you're still the same age as when you left. So, no. And as he's trying to explain this to her, he hears cries for help from people nearby. And he's like, all right, you got to come with me. We got to go help people. And she's like, what do you mean help people? He's like, look, we have powers and the people on this planet don't. And oftentimes they get themselves into a lot of trouble. So we just got to, come in and save the day. And she's like, I don't care about this planet. My planet's Krypton. I'm going to go save that. That's what needs saving. And he's like, Krypton isn't there. Could you please just, But Supergirl's like, nope, I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go save it. Bye. She flies off in tears. Cal is then just whispering because he knows that she can still hear him. And he's like, look, you should stay with me because you don't know your power set yet. And if you make a mistake, like, people will get hurt. So just please stay here. But she's too busy flying off. She goes back to the crater where her pod landed, and it's now completely empty. And she's like, that was the only source of clues I had. So that's cool. I'm officially without any forward leads. And as she's thinking that, a blue mechanical ball thing flies in, spits out a hologram of a guy named Simon Tycho. And he's like, hi, I'm Simon Tycho. I'm a trillionaire. I collect space stuff. I collected your pod. And I mean, I get everything that comes out of the sky. That's how I'm a trillionaire. But I didn't expect anything as amazing as you. But whew, boy, that's great. And this whole time he's monologuing, Supergirl's like, I don't understand what he's saying. But he sounds like those robots from issue 1, so maybe he's related. And Simon, he realizes, he's like, right, you can't understand anything I'm saying. So he pulls out a visual aid of her pod, like a miniature version. And he's like, I have this thing. Follow the ball. It's in space. And then the hologram turns off. He doesn't actually say it that way, but hologram turns off and it flies up into space. And she's like, all right, well, I got that much. And she flies up after, and she's like, can I breathe in space? I haven't even gotten down flying yet. Can I breathe in space? I don't know. Don't think about it. Here we go. And they get up, and there's this massive space station up there that looks a lot like Justice League Watchtower from the animated show, but they don't call it that. So right now it's just a space station. But Tycho's up there, and he's like, I think she's related to Superman. Call me crazy. The S on the chest kind of gives it away, though. Not sure if it's like a sister or an ex-girlfriend or whatever, but they didn't seem too happy. Either way, let's give her some Superman tests. So she arrives up on the space station in a docking bay. There's no doors anywhere. And she's like, all right, test number 1, the butterflies. And they send in all these little mechanical butterflies. And she's like, oh, these things are cute. Because they start zapping her with lasers, which according to his assistant, Miss Thorne, get up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. And he's just like, all right, keep laying it on. Keep going. And she's in pain, but she's apparently heating up, not just from the lasers, but she has her own internal energy source, which is actually outpacing the heat of the lasers. And they're like, okay, if she keeps on getting hotter, she's going to melt through the floor. And he's like, fine, all right, call it the butterflies. And they leave, and she immediately cools back down. And he's like, all right, we got some good info there. Second test, send in the brain. And she's like, we haven't really tested the brain. Send in the brain. So, the door opens up and out walks this gelatinous body, just blue water-looking thing, and inside is just a nervous system. That's it. And Supergirl's like, what is that? Rightly so. And she doesn't even try to fight it because now she sees the door, so she's just trying to go around it. But the Brain grabs a hold of her, throws her down. Supergirl tries throwing fists at her, I should say, and it's just getting stuck inside of the Brain's body. So this entire time this fight's going on, where Supergirl is basically losing to the Brain because she's not thinking outside the box on any of this. Tycho gets a call from the president of the United States, and the president's like, hey, Tycho, hey, buddy, so did you maybe, I don't know, take something out of Russia's backyard? Because they're kind of pissed because they think it was kind of valuable, so maybe don't do that. And Tycho's like, Mr. President, they signed the same contracts that you did, so unless you're going to monitor the space, like you're going to do something with space after you completely slash the budget for NASA, suck it. And he basically hangs up on him. He doesn't say those exact words, but it's close enough. And the assistant reminds him, like, the United States still has a very large nuclear arsenal. And he's like, I don't care. I'm a trillionaire. I can do whatever I want. Which hits a bit too close to home. But anyway, Supergirl is being choked out by the Brain, so she just desperately flies through the wall of the space station. And apparently the Brain can't live in a vacuum, which seems like a design flaw when you're up in space. But she gets away from the Brain. And then she finally figures out how to activate her X-ray vision. She scans the ship for her pod, she sees it, and she just makes a beeline through many walls to get to the pod. And as she arrives, she's like, cool. She goes to put her hand on it, and it starts, she starts feeling poisoned, kryptonite poisoning. She falls to her knees, and Tycho's like, okay, all right, that's something. So we thought this might have been a fuel source, and judging by how you look like you just downed a gallon of motor oil, I think we're right. But don't worry, Supergirl. You're safe here. We'll take good care of you, he says with his evil smile. And that's where the issue ends. I like this issue, but it is a step down from the previous two. I really liked just Supergirl. She showed up on this planet. She knows nothing about where she is, why she's here, any of her powers or anything like that. And she's just dealing. I really like that. And this issue started with that sort of thing of her getting a bit of explanation, but then she just runs off in a huff, and then we get the mustache twirling villain. Like, yeah, no, he's shit talking the president of the United States. Yeah, no, we get it. He's evil. I understand, but I didn't want him this soon. At least not to meet up with Supergirl. If you wanted to give him a bit of development just away, I'd be fine with that. But now that they've met each other and he's got Supergirl pretty much dead to rights, it's just, I don't know. I really like that first two issue stuff, and it feels like now we're just pivoting onto something else, and I miss that first two issue stuff. I'm going to give it a 6.5, though. It's good. The art is still fantastic. It's got like a watercolor sort of feel to it a lot of the time. It looks great. But yeah, no, it's nothing that the issue itself did. It's all what my expectations were, and I was just hoping that it kept going with that initial thing of, she can calm down. I'm not asking her to stay panicked the entire time, but just not to pivot so hard into a completely different direction of the story. So 6.5 for Supergirl. See where it goes from here.